Anthony Albanese has now done on your behalf what he's probably wanted to do since he was a radical leftist university protester, demonising Israel at pro-Palestinian rallies.
The response of Israel has been to meet children throwing rocks with helicopter gunships, with tanks and with missiles.
Yeah, the radical leftist anti-Israel protester Albanese is now Prime Minister, and he gets to set our foreign policy, and he's chosen this moment for Australia to officially recognise the non-existent state of Palestine.
Today I'm pleased to be here with Minister Wong to announce that effective today, Sunday the 21st of September 2025, the Commonwealth of Australia recognises the state of Palestine.
This moment, the Prime Minister could hardly have timed this bad decision any worse. Along with the UK and Canada, he has chosen to recognise this fictitious state at a time when one half of the Palestinian territories, Gaza, is run by Hamas, the Islamist terrorists who launched the horrific attack against Israel in October 2023. And the world got to see right now, this very day, how Hamas operates. Now, a warning, I'm about to show you some distressing footage of horrific events in Gaza, of Hamas gunmen about to execute 3 men in Gaza, because while Albanese and so many others on the political left like to blame Israel for everything that happens in Gaza, the war, its continuation, the holding of hostages, the terrorising of the Gazan population, well, they're all happening at the hands of Hamas. And footage out of Gaza in the past 24 hours has shown the public execution of at least 3 people that the terrorists accuse of collaborating with Israel. We, of course, will not show you the executions, but they are there on videotape as cold, hard evidence of just how the Islamist terrorists keep the population under control and keep the war going. Hamas have executed other Gazans for defying them to collect aid deliveries and for trying to flee to the safe zones that Israel has established. Hamas still holds 48 Israeli hostages, only 20 of whom are believed to still be alive. But as Israel attempts to root out the Hamas terrorists from Gaza City and finally end the war and the threat against the Israeli people, Albanese thinks he's got a better idea.
Our act of recognition is based on the commitments received from the Palestinian Authority, including that the terrorists of Hamas cannot govern Gaza again. Palestine recognises Israel's right to exist in peace and security. And the Palestinian Authority will demilitarise and hold democratic elections, driving broader reform to governance, finance and education.
Really? That's all? It's that easy? He just wants the Palestinian representatives to do what they have steadfastly refused to do for the past 8 decades, even when they've been offered a 2-state solution and rejected it numerous times. He reckons Mahmoud Abbas, who has promised elections for 20 years, he's 20 years into a 3-year term. Albanese reckons it's OK now because Abbas is now promising elections again. And what about that little matter of getting rid of Hamas?
Sorry, how do you ensure Hamas has no role in governing Palestine? You can't possibly do that, can you?
You do. Yeah, of course you can, Carl, as a precondition of moving forward, which is what we have said. We've recognised Palestine, but further diplomatic measures will be dependent upon the commitments that have been given.
Oh, instead of fighting Hamas, trying to eliminate and dismantle Hamas, you just negotiate Hamas away. You get rid of Hamas with diplomacy. What genius! Do Albanese and Penny Wong really suggest that someone goes in to strike an agreement with these guys? We just showed you what they do and what they're still doing. Let me warn you, I'm going to show you some of these images again, because our PM is really saying that he thinks these fanatics can be talked around. They can be reasoned with, these death cult maniacs. This is madness. This is stuff from the Albanese government. This is madness. It is an obscenity. This nonsense that you can talk to Islamist terrorists and talk them around, talk Hamas around, based on Australia's potential recognition of a non-existent state. What the Albanese government's diplomacy will do, of course, is just harden the stance of Israel.
I
have a clear message to those leaders who recognise a Palestinian state after the terrible massacre of October 7th. You are giving a huge prize to terrorism. And I have another message for you. It will not happen. There will be no Palestinian state west of the Jordan.
And it's also only going to put Albanese further at odds with the Americans, where Democrats and Republicans are much stronger in their support for Israel than the Australian Labor Party is.
You know, you're rewarding Hamas if you do that, and I don't think they should be rewarded. So I'm not in that camp.
Let's be clear about what's going on here. Australia is selling out Israel and selling out Australia's national interest in pursuit of hard left virtue signalling and hard left anti-Israel positioning. Albanese's new stand is at odds with our main security ally, the United States, but it will be welcomed by countries like China, Iran and Turkey. And the terrorists reckon it is pay dirt for their atrocities committed on October the 7th, nearly 2 years ago.
ليش كل الدول أصبحت تعترف بفلسطين الآن؟ قبل 7 أكتوبر هل في دولة تجرأت على أن تعترف بدولة فلسطين؟ أعطيني بس مثال. الآن حصاد 7 أكتوبر هو الذي خلى كل العالم يفتح عيونه على القضية الفلسطينية.
Yeah, the terrorists slaughtered entire families, burned them alive, shot dead young concert goers, mutilated their bodies, raped the women and defiled the bodies. The terrorists kidnapped this mother, Shiri Bibas, and her 2 beautiful little boys, Ariel and Kafir. They took them away in terror and at gunpoint, and they later killed them with their bare hands. And then they handed back their bodies in coffins and tried to turn the ceremony into some macabre propaganda event. And the Albanese Labor government, in the name of our country, has rewarded them by giving them what the terrorists pretend they want, a Palestinian state. It's not what they want, of course. They want the destruction of Israel. And Australia has given them a propaganda win. Albanese just doesn't understand that this is not just Israel's fight. He doesn't understand that this is a fight for civilization. This is where Western civilization has to stand up against Islamist terrorism. Albanese will not see, hear or speak about Islamist extremism. He just pretends this is all about an imaginary country. So we're left with the tragic image of our own Prime Minister, the Walter Mitty of global diplomacy. Here is a national leader who cannot even keep his own electorate office open. Just think about this. The Prime Minister of our nation, who is closing and shifting his electorate office because he cannot muster the wit or the fortitude to stand up to a bunch of gormless protesters, is the same Anthony Albanese who reckons he knows how to settle the central conflict in the Middle East that has confounded regional and global leaders for the best part of a century. Albo, how about you see if you can impose the rule of law at home and recognise the right of an electorate office to stay open before you pretend that you can turn Islamist terrorists into a functioning government, recognise an imagined new country and end a shocking war with nothing but words.